They do a good job.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Jones for the win. He got it. He got it. He got it! Mason Jones banks in a three with 0.1 seconds to play!
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Welcome inside ESPN Arkansas Studios. Good to be with you on a Thursday for halftime. Phil Elson here, Matt Smackdown Jenkins, Matty T. News already coming out of Philadelphia just before we got on the show. I think Dan Le Batard did mention it before we started. I thought that Major League Baseball yesterday might have dodged a bullet when the Phillies announced no positive tests for COVID-19 following their probably ill-advised game Sunday with the Miami Marlins. Well, another round of tests has come through, and no players test positive, but a Phillies coach and a member of the home clubhouse staff have tested positive. And so the Philadelphia Phillies have now shut down all activities at Citizens Bank Park for today and until further notice as well. So a little bit of another monkey wrench thrown into the baseball season. And here it was yesterday. I thought that we might have seen good news of no transmission from one team to the other. I guess they'll have to figure out what sort of contact tracing they'll have to do on these two members of the Phillies staff. But it doesn't look like the Phillies got out scot-free. So that's a fast-moving situation. We might get some updates throughout the show today. We do have Bob Holt joining us at 12:30. Nobody in the second hour, so we're open for your calls and texts all throughout the show at 877-377-6963. Yesterday, an interesting day, SmackDown, for college football. And here, how long ago was it that we were kicking around the ideas and thoughts of what a three-team alignment or a three-conference alignment would look like between the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC?
Wasn't very long ago.
Yeah, and I'd be able to preserve some of your more interesting out-of-conference matchups, maybe even draw some new matchups that would be a lot of fun to watch, and maybe get in a few more games than could be expected under a conference-only schedule. Well, and then the ACC yesterday goes out and makes their announcement first. I guess they had heard some rumors coming out of SEC territory that our league is looking probably at a conference-only schedule. And I guess we'll find something about that out in the next 24 hours. We're expecting an announcement or some sort of communication from the SEC office tomorrow. So everybody's got sources, SmackDown, right? Like, journalists have sources. We've got our sources. The folks that run the ACC apparently also have their sources. And they got word about the SEC's plans, and it looked like they leapfrogged over the SEC to be the first to make an announcement and put a little onus on the SEC to keep some of these non-conference matchups going for this upcoming season.
It's always a race to be first, to try to be the first out there and get some headlines in. I mean, that's from a journalistic standpoint. Everybody knows that. Whether it's right or wrong, that's a different argument. But kind of caught me by surprise, because not necessarily that I assumed that there was going to be this alliance between the three conferences that are still holding out right now, but I kind of figured that they would have announced at the same time, and not necessarily said an alliance between the two, but kind of this mutual understanding that our SEC is going to do 9+1, 10+1, ACC is going to do it, and then just kind of, now Florida and Florida State can play at the end of the year. Just kind of that, just an unsigned kind of a deal. But now with this, and then the rumor circulating that SEC is going conference only, you never know. I didn't take it as much as being blindsided like the Big Ten and Pac-12 did a couple weeks ago, just kind of out of the blue, that they made their decision just like that. But I guess we'll find out and see. I mean, they are having they being the SEC having the SEC presidents are meeting virtually today to seriously discuss this matter of the rumored 10-game conference-only schedule. Haven't heard anything from that. I don't know if they're necessarily going to vote on it today, tomorrow, push it till next week. But this certainly seems like the direction it's going, and the sources that we've seen and we've heard, it was a gentleman from Sports Illustrated. I blanked on his name, Ross Dellinger. Sports Illustrated's got the scoop on it. I'm not going to say it's necessarily written down in pencil or permanent marker, but you can pretty much quote unquote guarantee that this is the direction we're going in the SEC.
Well, I don't think that their announcement had much to do about getting the headlines, and there is a major difference between what the ACC did and with the announcements from the plans from the Big Ten and the Pac-12. The Big Ten and Pac-12 jumped out and just automatically canceled every one of their non-conference games and did it without any of those opponents knowing what was about to happen. So those two conferences made scheduling decisions for other conferences in that sense. Didn't affect the SEC at all, but it affected just about every other league. What the ACC has done, they haven't canceled any big-time non-conference games that already weren't canceled. You know, they are keeping the possibility open of this +1 to keep the rivalries that matter to a lot of those schools. This keeps the possibility of Clemson versus South Carolina, Louisville and Kentucky, Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Florida versus the two other schools in the ACC that play that are in that state. Also keeps open the possibility of Arkansas and Notre Dame, because now Notre Dame becomes a de facto member of the football ACC conference this year. Just the thought of them competing for a conference championship is a little bit different. But what the ACC has done here is they put the onus on the SEC to do the canceling of those games.
Yeah.
You know, if it's the SEC that now comes out and says, well, we're doing just conference only, well, then the ACC is able to say, well, we've given you the opportunity to keep these rivalry games and maybe keep a couple of other non-conference games, and maybe even have another non-conference matchup that would be exciting and interesting. You know, like pitting Alabama against Florida State or something like that. Looks like Alabama wants to open against BYU, and I think that the SEC wants to allow their member institutions that have an in-state rival that means something to them. I think they'd like them to play, but I don't think they're viewing those games as the end-all, be-all of what the season is about. The season, obviously, is about conference matchups now. And it seems that SEC athletic directors, at least from the stories we're reading, the majority of them are in agreement of playing a conference-only schedule. But it feels like the ACC just got out ahead of them, and now it publicly makes the final decision now about college football for this upcoming season in the Power Five, and even in the Group of Five for some cases, what this upcoming season is going to look like. It's the SEC's and no surprise, right, that the SEC is the last league to, and I won't say make a decision, but to make an announcement. It's the same thing that happened in the spring. SEC was the last to cancel their basketball tournament. I think they were the last to cancel the baseball season.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a matter of just eventually everybody's settled on the same decision, and it does feel right now like all these conferences are about to settle on the same decision, which is just to play conference matchups, give yourself a lot of extra time to get these games in, maybe get a 10-game season in a 15 or 16 week period, maybe get in a game every 2 weeks. So
that was the one thing I really noticed a lot looking at that ACC schedule, because the ACC championship game was either December 12th or 19th, which normally the conference title games are always normally about the latter part of November, the first week of December. So you already seen where the season's being pushed back in a sense, so they might have some little ACC-wise, have some wrinkles in the schedule that could potentially work out better for them.
Well, I mean, now, so the Big 12 said that they're allowing their schools to open up week 0, August 29th. ACC says, well, you can't play until 2 weeks after that, which would mean that if Arkansas Notre Dame remains on the schedule this year, that's how Notre Dame would open the season. Whether or not Arkansas would play somebody else week 1, that's up in the air too. And here it was at the, all these months ago, we thought that Notre Dame would be opening the year in Dublin, Ireland, week 0, have a week off before they face the Razorbacks, and it would be Arkansas that's playing the week before. Everything feels up in the air, but we might have a little more clarity in the next 24 hours or so. 877-377-6963. We'll be right back.
Governor Asa Hutchinson here on the Morning Rush.
I don't know how the public will react whenever you have a football player that tests positive. Will people feel comfortable pulling that one student out, isolating them, and going on about the game? We're going to have positive tests, and we have to deal with it just like we do in the work setting, in our family setting. Life doesn't stop.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3. Everyone loves Buffalo Wild Wings. Only the hottest, juiciest, meatiest, crispiest, and most scrumptious buffalo wings around. But what kind should we order? There's so many to choose from. That's right, 24 to be exact. Saucy or seasoned, spicy or mild, B-Dubs has it all. Go to hitthatline.com and vote for your favorite Buffalo Wild Wing flavor. Spicy garlic, honey barbecue, blazing, and countless more. Vote now at hitthatline.com.
Do you need to trade or just outright sell your car? Bring it to Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford. Harry will pay top dollar for your vehicle. Harry needs cars right now to stock the lot, and he has always given more for your trade. If you're looking to trade or just looking to sell that extra car, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford.
We're now living in uncharted waters with the spread of COVID-19. With the partial closing of a lot of businesses, sadly, some will soon try and turn your possessions into their possessions. Guardtronic has been providing security for homes and businesses for over 60 years. Whether you need a camera system to keep an eye on things or a complete home security system, call Guardtronic 479-785-2323 or go online to guardtronic.com. We have so many worries these days, safety should not be one of them. License E50.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization and service to financing options. They offer a variety of vans, like the durable Mercedes-Benz Sprinter or versatile Mercedes-Benz Metris, each tailored to match your work or play lifestyle. With options like blind spot assist and active lane keeping assist, plus MBUX voice command technology for directions, weather forecast, comfort control, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership for a test drive today. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Some equipment described as optional.
July is here, and at Frank Rowe Furniture, we're celebrating all month long with our Made in the USA furniture and Speed Queen washers and dryers on sale. Also on sale is our GE French door refrigerators, gas and electric ranges, and dishwashers. We also have new in-stock stainless steel 36-inch ranges, double French door refrigerators, vent hoods, and stainless steel dishwashers for all your custom building needs. Frank Rowe Furniture, best seats in the house.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and B.F. Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
This is ESPN 95.3. Hey, You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Joe, for the record, gets it from the corner. Isaiah with the three. That's his 103rd of the year, and he sets an Arkansas record for made three-point baskets in a season.
Okay, so the ACC is playing conference only +1. They've got their entire 10-game conference schedule pretty much figured out, with the exception of the dates the games will take place. But at the end of the graphic that the ACC Twitter account put out yesterday, it says a big fat TBA for their non-conference game. So the non-conference game for the ACC has to be played either in their home stadium, or it could be a road game inside the same state, which basically is all about those in-state rivalry matchups that we mentioned last segment. But this also does leave open the possibility that Arkansas still could make the trip to South Bend. We don't know when it would happen, but it could still theoretically happen. If the game was supposed to be played in Fayetteville this year, then it would be canceled. There would be no way for it to happen because it would fall outside the rules that the ACC has set for this year. Now, JT in Hot Springs says, and I think his sentiment is probably shared by most everybody else, that Arkansas will not be Notre Dame's non-conference opponent this year. And I think you're looking to the traditional matchup with Navy as probably the team that Notre Dame would most like to play. As I understand, they've got Arkansas, Navy, and Western Michigan as their three games that haven't been canceled yet.
Correct.
So I would find it highly dubious that they play Western Michigan. So right now, if you're Notre Dame, I don't know who makes this decision here, honestly. Like if the SEC tomorrow says, okay, we'll do a conference schedule +1. So I don't know where the decision comes from then. But is it Notre Dame's decision? Or is it a matter of an agreement between them and Arkansas? Do the league commissioners step in? Notre Dame already has made a large concession just by joining a football conference for the season. But, hey, that's the only way they were going to be able to have a year. That's the only way they would have games to schedule. Yeah. So they've got Arkansas scheduled at home SmackDown, but if they can't go play in Annapolis, the way the ACC has the rules for the schedule now, Notre Dame would have to host Navy. And, of course, the game initially was scheduled in Dublin. I don't know if it's a matter of, well, they can get them to come to South Bend now, or can they get Arkansas to come to South Bend? If it's up to Notre Dame, I would imagine they're going to pick Navy, just because. I mean, you
there's
put
more
it
of a game there. Yeah.
Well, they've also. I mean, how many years in a row has Notre Dame and Navy played?
Have they played before?
I haven't heard.
Okay. I thought you were being serious. It's like they've played for like 130 freaking years.
Right. It's like 92 consecutive seasons that Notre Dame and Navy have played. And Arkansas and Navy have never, and Arkansas and Notre Dame have never played against each other. So the weight of history is certainly not on the Razorback side to keep this game on the schedule.
I think you're right. I mean, selfishly, yes, of course you want to go play. But Tommy brought up a good point this morning. Ty echoed this morning on The Rush. What are the chances that Arkansas, if everything was normal, what are the chances Arkansas goes into Notre Dame this year and wins? Slim to none.
Pretty slim chance.
Very slim.
Nothing's normal, though. So
right, nothing's normal.
There is a chance.
Oh, and there's always a chance. It doesn't matter how bad you suck. I mean, you always got that shot. But selfishly, wouldn't you rather see any of the Razorback fans traveling to Notre Dame, aside from the game, you go there for the atmosphere. You go there for the pageantry that is Notre Dame, the touchdown Jesus and everything that goes into it.
Well, touchdown Jesus will still be there, but the pageantry is not going to be
right.
there.
And there's the band and everything. But my point is, give it 3 years. Let's play Notre Dame save for conversation in 2025.
Yeah, but can you do that? Like, I mean, when's the next open date on the schedule for Notre Dame?
Aside from all that, you would rather play Notre Dame in a couple of years when Pittman has got this thing hopefully steered in the right direction, and you could be more competitive. That way, next time you do travel to Notre Dame, at least at that point, hopefully, pray to God, everything is back to normal. You've got the pageantry back, and you've got a football team that can actually compete. So you look at it from that angle, yes, but I think you're right. They're going to go with Navy. And I hope they don't. I would love to see Arkansas and Notre Dame play just to say they had, but you're going to go with a team you've never faced before or a team that you've played for 130 years.
Right. So Notre Dame, it's a different schedule than they've ever played before. Fighting Irish get Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Louisville, Syracuse at home. And they'll travel to Boston College, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Pitt, and Wake Forest. It is interesting. I mean, you see, this is a large league.
Very.
The ACC, I think, geographically is the largest league in the country because you're going from Boston to South Bend, Indiana, all the way down to Miami. So, look, Boston and Miami are the two north and south extremes here. And Syracuse, well, they don't play against Miami, but they do travel all the way down to Atlanta to play against Georgia Tech, and they'll be in North Carolina a few times. So it's interesting. I mean, now why do schools join conferences? Because they have the same, in some cases, standards, and standards is what this is all going to be about. Testing standards and standards for how you're keeping your student athletes safe, and standards on how you're keeping everybody else safe on campus. And it just seems a lot easier to trust the schools in your own league than the schools in any other league. And I guess that also, I don't know if it's a matter of ACC doesn't trust the SEC to test enough players or to keep them safe. I think it's just a matter of them finding the easiest way to put a schedule together.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's a lot easier to schedule inside your own league only than it is apparently to even have one non-conference matchup. And the ease of scheduling maybe is what should be tantamount right now.
Absolutely.
The ability to be flexible, the ability to postpone games if necessary. I mean, we've seen last night, Jamie Pollard, the Iowa State athletic director, who's been really upfront with his fan base throughout this entire pandemic, he said, I expect a game to be canceled during the season at some point. Does that mean that the entire season gets canceled? Probably not. If you give yourself the flexibility,
yes.
That's right. So, giving yourself 2 weeks, a week between games, that does make a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you can do that with an 11 or 12-game schedule. With a 10-game schedule, you might be able to. With an 8-game schedule, heck, you really can.
And you really could by going conference only. Because then if you go the 10+1, and that happens to be the Notre Dame, just say Arkansas and Notre Dame was to be the game, and it gets canceled because Notre Dame had 10 kids test positive or whatever, gets canceled. How much harder is that going to be to try to reschedule that game versus if it was Arkansas versus LSU? That's where probably the more positives lie going conference only because, like you said, you get more of the flexibility. You can start in week 0 if you really wanted to, and then you allot yourself from August 28th, 7th, whatever that Saturday is, all the way to December 5th or 12th. You get a 4-month stretch to try to get in 10 games. Mm-hmm. Whether then you go every other week like we've mentioned or whatever, you've got not plenty of time, but you've got a 4-month stretch to try to get in arguably 9 to 10 games. You want to get all 10, but if for some reason it did get canceled, 9's better than none. 9's better than 8.
The main thing about this season is getting as many games in as you possibly can. It's not a matter of how many people are showing up. You're not going to be making any money on game days. You'll be making your money on your television revenue. You need to have these games to be played. So, I don't know. Arkansas wasn't being paid to go to Notre Dame because you were getting the return trip. So it's not about, Notre Dame trying to save money by not bringing Arkansas there. I think it'd be a matter of the history of playing against their longest rival.
Yeah.
That's going to end up being tantamount. And maybe it is better for Arkansas to not play Notre Dame this year, just because. But on the other hand, hey, it's not. You take Notre Dame off the schedule, but you still add like maybe Florida and
would that be our luck?
And South Carolina and Georgia. I mean, it's not like things get any easier. So traveling to Notre Dame would be awfully difficult in a normal year. Well, this is not a normal year, and you're going to end up possibly with the toughest schedule you've ever had with fewer games than usual.
And a first-year head coach and a first-time head coach. What the hell else can happen at this point?
Yeah, it's just like Clay Henry mentioned yesterday. Don't ever say things can't ever get worse.
Oh, no.
They can't.
We're at the threshold of hell!
Well, not quite yet. I'm gonna throw you into the threshold of hell later on in the show because I just continue to find reasons why you have
just
a
say it
lot
out
of
loud.
things.
Just say it
You
out
got
loud.
a
That's
lot
fine.
of things to watch.
I know this.
I just don't know.
Y'all
if
yelled at
you
me
and
enough
I can
today.
really get along with the movies that you haven't seen. You know, I just feel bad. I'm going to really enjoy halftime homework later.
I
on.
know you are.
My kids have seen better movies than you.
Look, fine.
Bob Holt coming up after the break.
Maybe
Stay
Bob will
tuned.
be nicer to me.
Bob's always nicer to you. Most people, nobody in the world is nicer than Bob Holt. That's just a fact of humanity. And he'll be nice to you, and I will too, right after this.
Hey, this is David Owen with Ouachita Farms. We grow hemp in Central Arkansas and process it into full-spectrum CBD products. Ouachita Farms products are affordably priced and available online or conveniently located at nearly 200 stores across the state. All Ouachita Farms CBD products are tested at C-Pill Labs in Little Rock to ensure that you will always get what you expect. Find us online today and use this code at checkout.
Ouachita Farms! Go to WouachitaFarms.com and use code WPS15 at checkout of your purchase.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get your color your way. We've made it easier than ever to try and buy color. Preview paint colors in your home with our Color Snap app. Then visit swcolorchips.com to have color chips delivered to your door for free. And when you're ready to paint, shop online. Then stop by your local Sherwin-Williams store for curbside pickup and get everything you need without leaving your car.
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays, signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers and Fort Smith.
It's that time of year, baseball season, and time to clean. Let ServiceMaster Clean help you with your carpet, upholstery, and floor cleaning. ServiceMaster Clean has been an industry leader for more than 60 years and back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local ServiceMaster Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or ServiceMasterPC.com.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above can make that driveway and fence look brand new with a good power washing. You don't have to put up with those unwanted pests either. Call today and get started with the flea, tick, and mosquito treatment to start enjoying the outdoors again. More than just a mowing service. They're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea, tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, now open Tuesday through Saturday. Still serving all the 906 specialty items, with new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, dine in or carry out, wines, top shelf spirits, and handcrafted cocktails and cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels more like a destination. Following all of the state guidelines in a state-of-the-art air filtration system for your safety. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open Tuesday through Saturday at 4 p.m.
Finally, CBD products are available in your area. It's 100% legal to buy our hemp-based CBD products, oils, gummies, or tablets. So what's bothering you? Science is finding CBD can help a variety of problems. Do you live with chronic pain? Do you want to reduce nausea and vomiting? Do you want to quit smoking or break some addictions? That's the reason why so many people are talking about CBD. Whether it's sleep issues, stress, or even anxiety, it's time to take a look. Right now, CBD products are available to you, and you get 30 days to try it out with a money-back satisfaction guarantee. You have nothing to lose and your better health to gain. Call right now. Mention the discount code RADIO and qualify for free shipping.
800-689-5773. 800-689-5773. 800-689-5773. That's 800-689-5773.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
All right, boys. The warden is trying to break our spirit. He thinks we're gonna skip practice today, wait for the field to dry, but let me say this. That old man flooding this field tells me something. The guy is scared. Scared of you, sick, degenerate convicts. And you know what? He should be, because I got news for you guys. We're gonna win this thing. What's it gonna be, boys? Do we go back to our cells, call it a day, or do we get ourselves ready for the greatest ass-kicking fiesta in the history of football? I'll leave it up to you guys.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Smackdown.
Back on Halftime, we'll go to the phone lines, and Bob Holt joining us, sports writer extraordinaire, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. He's in Fayetteville. Bob, what's going on today?
Oh, just working at home.
Yeah, I think you've given the exact same answer for the last how many weeks now. I asked the same question, and you give the same answer, so nothing really changes too much. So what's your feeling on what we might hear within the next 24 hours? Do you think there'll be an announcement from the SEC tomorrow?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think if they have all their ducks lined up, I don't know why they wouldn't announce it. All these other conferences are making announcements. I think they're, obviously Greg Sankey and, the SEC, the school leaders have proceeded very, I think cautiously and prudently. Excuse me. I mean, don't announce a decision if you don't have to, because this thing is so fluid. But I think if they have it off, if Ross Dellinger really seems to be out ahead of this stuff for Sports Illustrated, and I know he reported that the ADs had voted in favor of this plan, and I wouldn't think that the presidents and chancellors would go against their ADs. I assume they'd be on the same page, although maybe there are some things that need to be ironed out. But I think if they're all in agreement, I think they would announce it tomorrow, because I don't know why you'd wait, because obviously, the fans want to know what's going on. The players want to know. The coaches probably do know, but so I think if they know what they want to do, they'll announce something.
It was pretty interesting what the ACC did yesterday by jumping ahead of the SEC. I guess the SEC people thought that they might make an announcement in concert with the ACC, but it maybe not necessarily the fact that the ACC made the announcement before the SEC did, but they dangled this open end with the non-conference game that they're allowing to be played, which seems to be more about traditional rivalries than anything else. And if you're talking traditional rivalry, that means Notre Dame's playing Navy and not Arkansas, right?
Yeah, I'd be shocked. If it is a choice between Navy and Arkansas, all due respect to the Razorbacks, Notre Dame's played Navy for a million years. They've obviously dominated the series, although Navy got them a couple of years ago. I think it was ended like a 37-year losing streak to them. So, yeah, that game was really hyped up. It was going to be played over in Ireland, I believe. I know it was going to be played over in Europe. I think it was Ireland that they were going to play. And, I just have a really hard time believing that they would drop Navy to play Arkansas, or really anybody. But especially, Notre Dame's never played Arkansas. There's no history between the schools. There's a lot of history between Navy and Notre Dame. Also, obviously, there's a lot of respect for the service academies. I think everybody could agree on that, or hopefully they could. And so, yeah, I would be absolutely flabbergasted, or whatever word you want to use, if Notre Dame played anybody other than Navy in that situation.
Speaking to Bob Holt here on Halftime. Bob, if it is, in fact, a 10-game conference-only schedule in the SEC, from a Razorback perspective, that's a tough way to to introduce Sam Pittman into head coaching here in the SEC.
Yeah, obviously, all these teams want to have some non-conference games to sort of, give younger guys a chance to play, work some kinks out. Obviously, that wasn't going to be Notre Dame if that game were to have come off. But, yeah, Arkansas, obviously, and Nevada's no gimme. I mean, that was going to be a tough game. It will be a tough game if they end up playing it. Certainly no guarantee Arkansas would win that game. Nevada's a good team, and Arkansas obviously has struggled in recent years, but they definitely could have used playing somebody like Nevada rather than an SEC team. Certainly Charleston Southern. So yeah, if they got to play 10 SEC games, I mean that's going to be a real tough way to go. But at this point, I think everybody, the players want to play, the coaches want to coach, and just to be real blunt about it, the athletic departments desperately need the money generated by football games, and I think the fans need them to kind of keep their sanity, somewhat.
Do you think, and this is more of a question just because I genuinely don't know, if the Notre Dame game between Arkansas is canceled or they go and play with Navy, whatever, will that game still be honored in the coming years, or is that pretty much just get washed under the bridge and then they come to Arkansas in 2024, I believe it is, or 25? But the question, what happens to the Arkansas-Notre Dame game if it doesn't happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not really sure. I mean, because these football schedules are made so far out in advance. But also, as we've seen, they can be shifted around. Games can be shifted around. It'd be a real shame if Arkansas loses, that game. Or I don't think Notre Dame would really want to come to Fayetteville and not get a return game. So you'd like to think they could work something out, but it may be that they play, that game in 10 years. Arkansas, I think Texas still owes Arkansas game in Fayetteville, right? And that thing seems to keep getting moved around. So, in answer to your question, I honestly don't know. One thing I will say, last week I think you asked me about, Arkansas playing and being in compliance with, Governor Hutchinson's directives and all those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to Matt Jones, our online sports editor for Whole Hogs. He brought up a great point that I'd forgotten, that the governor appointed Hunter Yurchek to his task force, I guess, for athletics. So I would just say, based on that, they're going to be on the same page. Whatever is decided, they'll kind of do that in concert. And like Matt said, I can't imagine if Arkansas is allowed, or schools are allowed to play by the NCAA and the SEC, can't imagine any governor saying no, you can't do that. So, but whatever happens, I think Hunter and the governor are on the same page on things.
And I also think too, when you look at this Notre Dame game, if it's assuming it's not going to happen, I think in the long run, if you're a Razorback fan, yes, you go to Notre Dame to see the game, and obviously for fans' perspective, but when you also look at it, you got the pageantry of Notre Dame, you've got everything that goes into a Notre Dame game day, that if you was to play them this year, fans really don't get to experience what a Notre Dame home game is like. And if you push that back a few years, say for like 2025, 2026, not only do you get to see that, but hopefully by that point, Sam Pittman has turned this program around and the game will be a little bit more competitive. Don't you think so?
Well, yeah, that's a great point. And in some ways, it'd obviously be cool if Arkansas played at Notre Dame. But it's like you say, for a lot of fans who can afford a trip, it'd be the trip of a lifetime. Getting to go see a game in South Bend, and Notre Dame would be a prohibitive favorite. It would be a huge upset if Arkansas were to win, if they were to play. A lot of ifs there. It's probably almost surely not going to happen. But that's a great point, I think. Hopefully they can play again in better times when Arkansas can take 8,000 or 9,000 fans, or whatever their ticket allotment would be, because if they were to play, which isn't going to happen, apparently, very few, if any, fans would be allowed. They definitely would not be letting Arkansas fans in. It would be all Notre Dame people, I'm sure.
Bob, let's play pretend for a minute and that there is no pandemic. Doesn't that sound like fun?
That sounds real. That sounds like a lot of fun.
So let's pretend that there would be a press conference today at the football center, and Sam Pittman is up there, and of course you're getting the first question. There is no pandemic, so you can't ask about the preparations during the pandemic. What would your first question today be to Sam Pittman if you could give one, if you could have one?
But you're saying there's no pandemic?
No pandemic. You're only asking him about football. First question.
I guess probably how are the quarterbacks looking? Is Felipe Franks the clear number one, or what's that competition going to be like? But probably something like that.
Okay, all right. I knew I'd put you on the spot with that for a moment, but it is really difficult to pretend that there is no pandemic. But just try to change the visuals for a moment. Loved the piece about Eric Musselman's love of baseball. headline news. I love a story about baseball, but I love when you see people that are obsessed with the sport they work in. I think it's safe to say that Eric Musselman is obsessed with basketball, and he seems to have, I don't know if you say an obsession, but certainly a love for baseball. And the thing that really stood out, the story that of his dad, Bill Musselman, lobbying for the San Diego Padres general manager to hire him as the manager and meaning it, that was priceless.
Yeah, that actually, I guess, has been written about in The Athletic in June. I had missed that somehow. I read The Athletic. I mean, it's very, very good. I can't say publication. I guess I have to say website. But, yeah, I mean, Bill Musselman, obviously very accomplished college and NBA coach, very, very famous name. And I know Eric's really proud of his dad and proud of that association. I think they're the first father and son team to ever be head coaches in the NBA. Pretty sure that's right. Maybe the only ones. I'm not sure if anybody else I can think of. But, yeah, his dad knew a lot of people, and he was friends with Ballard Smith, who was the general manager of the Padres. And, Padres, I guess they were an exhibition team in 69. I think Preston Gomez was their first manager. I was just looking this up. But like a lot of expansion teams, they had a high turnover rate of managers. And Ballard Smith had just become the GM, and Ray Kroc, who was the McDonald's king and bought the team, said, well, I'm tired of recycling managers. Let's think outside the box here. Let's do something different. And so I guess Bill Musselman said, what about me? I guess he figured, well, I can teach, I can lead, I can motivate, whatever. And I guess as good of friends as he was with Ballard Smith, didn't go for that. But Bill Musselman actually had a baseball background. Eric was talking about that. His dad was a catcher at Wittenberg, pretty good catcher, and he was a really good basketball player, too. Wittenberg's a college in Springfield, Ohio. But that would have really been wild if Bill Musselman had been manager of the Padres. They ended up hiring Jerry Coleman outside the box, their radio announcer, who played Major League Ball for the Yankees, and that lasted 1 year, and then Jerry was back in the broadcast booth, so they finally got it right with Dick Williams and made the College World Series, where they happened to lose to the Detroit Tigers in 1984.
Yeah, and that wasn't even the worst managerial hire of the 70s, because remember, Ted Turner put himself as the Braves manager for one game. He lost, and then a rule was made that no owner could be a manager for a major league team. I think that's probably the worst hire in baseball managerial history. Bob, we'll let you go there. I appreciate your time as always. Thanks so much.
Okay, you guys take care.
Thanks, Bob.
You got it. Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Another thing that stood out from that story, and I think that you might be hard pressed to find two head coaches in the same sport on the same campus that have the collections of memorabilia of Mike Neighbors and Eric Musselman. I mean, we've already gone through the things that Nabes has.
Yeah.
And he is an obsessed collector. Musselman has the bat that Reggie Jackson used to hit two of the home runs in that famous 1977 World Series game where he hit 3 homers.
Oh, wow.
This is one of the all-time performances in baseball history. Muss has that bat on the wall. That's some good stuff. All right, closing out the first hour after the break. 877-377-6963.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese. He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe in a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
Jelco Outdoors is your summertime get outside and have some fun headquarters. Fishing equipment, fishing kayaks, canoes, archery equipment, firearms for target shooting, and comfortable footwear for hiking. Jelco has all the great gear to make your time outdoors a great adventure. Hunters, it's time to get those game cameras out and start scouting for fall. Jelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fitzman can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fitzman and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
Dee's Family Restaurant of Alma at 39 Column Lane across from the water park is now reopened and ready to serve you. We're open 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Breakfast is served all day and our full menu is available at 10:30 a.m. All-you-can-eat steak on Thursday night, cooked order prime rib on Friday night, and now we deliver on Waiter. Curbside and to-go is still available. Call ahead, 632-1014.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week, both on the open-air patio and air-conditioned dining room for your safety and comfort. River City Bistro is locally owned and open weekdays 11 to 8, Saturdays 10 to 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Evans Body Shop wants you to know that you are now able to get the repair process started on your schedule. With just a few clicks of your cell phone, you can send photos and your vehicle information directly to our shop. We will respond within 24 hours with a detailed estimate for repairs. It's that simple. We are here for you. Visit our website for all of the details. We offer complimentary pickup and drop-off as well, and extra steps are being taken to ensure your car is returned as good as new and completely sanitized.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Hey, show us your crack. What?
Nah, they're talking about the crack in your windshield.
Oh, now that makes sense. Mr. Autoglass and ESPN Arkansas are teaming up to replace your broken, cracked windshield. Just go to hitthatline.com and send us a picture of your cracked windshield. One lucky entrant will get a new windshield from Mr. Autoglass in Fort Smith. Show us your crack from Mr. Autoglass and hitthatline.com. This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Shot clock's at 10. Jones forces a three, and it goes anyway. Wow, Mason Jones with a three. Arkansas is up 67-62. Archie Miller wants a timeout with 2:01 to go.
So it's fun to look at the differences between the morning show and this show right here, which is still called Halftime, and we have not gone the direction of the Washington NFL football team yet, but eventually we will rename it ESPN Arkansas's Midday Sports Talk program. We always refer to our hashtag holidays on the pre-show tweets. Ty, who writes the tweets for the Morning Rush, said today is National Chili Dog Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad day to be celebrating.
Fantastic day.
And what did I refer to this afternoon on our pre-show tweet?
Lipstick.
SmackDown? National Lipstick Day. Lipstick and chili dogs go together. There
you
are
missed
people who wear
even,
lipsticks that eat chili dogs. It's okay.
You missed an even better one, too.
What's that?
National Cheesecake Day.
Ooh, wow. Chili cheese dogs, cheesecake, and lipstick all at the same meal.
That's a date night right there.
If you could eat as much as you want of either a chili dog or a cheesecake with no, negative consequences, which one would you choose that you could eat the most of?
Cheesecake.
Chili dog.
I'd go cheesecake, too.
Because there's a lot of different variations you can go with a cheesecake. A lot of variety. But I love chili dogs, don't get me wrong.
I think you can put on chili dogs. That's just two of the ingredients that you can put on, and you can put on dozens of others.
So what, like onions, cheese? What else do you put on a chili?
So we talked about this morning. You two
jalapenos, I guess.
You two will probably judge me because that's all you've done for the past 3.5 hours is judge me in my decisions, which they're warranted.
5 months.
They're warranted. That's fine. That's a different argument for a different day. and they're warranted because I'm not the biggest movie buff, and you're probably going to find out when halftime homework rolls around because I think Phil's licking his chops right now for halftime homework.
I'm still angry at the facts that I find from you day by day.
Look, I'm better than Ty, don't you think?
Better in what?
At least in some areas in life. Hopefully.
Maybe.
Anyway, I do on chili dogs, like got your hot dogs. I like to put a little layer of mayonnaise underneath on the hot dog and then put the chili on top and then put all the toppings underneath it just to give it a little bit of that tang and sweetness factor.
Do you ever put mayonnaise in your bowl of chili? I had a friend that put cottage cheese in chili.
Oh, gross.
Now, I love cottage cheese. I love chili, but I've never approached that mixture.
No, I don't put mayonnaise. No, none
now,
of that.
I can eat just a little bit of like cottage cheese and peaches. I remember eating those as a kid. In a month or so ago, I was like, oh, I used to like that. About halfway through the bowl of cottage cheese, I realized there's only so much cottage cheese you can eat. It loses its
I don't even know if I've ever tried cottage cheese
It's
before.
like curdled milk.
Yeah, but it doesn't taste like curdled milk. It
has the texture of it.
It has a chunky look to it.
Yeah, I was going to try.
If you don't like blue cheese, I don't see you eating cottage cheese.
Don't you worry about it then.
Dip
So
your
pretty-
chicken wing in some cottage cheese.
Yeah, buddy.
Pretty interesting bit of information here that Sam Vecini reported in The Athletic. So we're all focused on Isaiah Joe making a decision as to whether or not he stays in the draft or comes back to Arkansas August the 3rd. But the NCAA and the NBA have two different deadline dates here. The deadline to register for the NBA draft, or the deadline to register for the NBA draft is August the 17th. So theoretically, Isaiah or anybody else could announce he's coming back to school August the 3rd. Be with the guys for a couple of weeks, act like a college student, but still kick around the ideas of getting back into the NBA draft. And then 2 weeks after August 3rd, declare for the draft again. So we've got another deadline date to focus on here, SmackDown, as far as Isaiah Joe is concerned.
It's odd because I read this morning. I was like, it's worded really weird. And because why not just have one deadline date and then just make your decision by then? I was confused. The way you just put it kind of made sense to me, but what's the difference? I mean, I don't know. I was confused by it, but
well, essentially it buys
him more time.
Yeah, the player buys himself 2 extra weeks.
But how much more time does this? How much more time does he need?
I know. I
mean, I get it. It's a big decision. I understand, and I'd say that tongue in cheek, just making a joke about it. But my God, he's had it since March to try to figure this thing out.
Well, no better time to procrastinate than yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
That's what college kids do. We were all one at one point.
Yeah, and I still procrastinate. So I mean, I can understand why you'll take until the very last moment before you make that decision. But I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, this decision would have been made back in April.
Oh, we'd be talking about him being on the G League rosters by now.
That's right. In normal circumstances, this decision would have been made 3 months ago, 4 months ago, really, early April.
First of May, probably, yeah.
And now here it is. You got a little confusion as to, you make your announcement that you're coming back, you still could end up going to the NBA draft 2 weeks later nonetheless.
JT in Hot Springs texted in, going back to our radio show name, he said, the new name needs to be the best dang midday radio show in the country. You damn right, JT.
That's cute. Appreciate that, JT. South Carolina got good news yesterday. A.J. Lawson is returning for his senior year, for his junior year, not senior year. So big-time scoring threat for Frank Martin's Gamecocks. But then again, I mean, here's the facts. He in 2 weeks and 2 days, he could still declare for the NBA draft again.
It's weird. I mean, I don't know. I don't get paid enough to make that kind of a decision. It just seems odd that the NBA and NCAA, which they have bigger fish to fry, I get it, but why is there such a miscommunication between the dates? Because all this whole time up until now with this new date, we've been going to the assumption of either August 3rd or 10 days before the combine, whichever came first. And whatever came first, that's when you had to figure out, okay, I'm either staying in the draft or coming back to school. And now this day comes, it's a confusing mess.
Well, the NBA is going to do just what's best for them. So, first they want to get the restart, which starts today. And the draft isn't until October. So they're giving their teams essentially just, one thing at a time is what it sounds like. And look, I mean, with the way the G League, which is owned by the NBA, is now taking some of the better high school players, it's obvious. The NBA doesn't really care about NCAA basketball, nor should they. They don't really have to. They're starting kind of a whole new system. Yeah, Adam from Wynn wants to know why we changed the show name. We're just joking around here. This show will always be halftime. I don't think it'll ever change. We're just kicking around the thoughts that if the Washington NFL team does not have a nickname or a real nickname during the football season, maybe we can do the same thing and just sort of generalize it.
Just the ESPN Arkansas midday radio show. Yeah.
Are they going to have a name before the season?
I don't think so. I think the Washington football team.
So that means they're going to have to come up with brand new uniforms and helmets to use for 1 year.
A friend of mine shared something on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter or something, but the uniforms look pretty much identical to the Redskins uniform. They just took off the Redskin logo and put numbers on the helmet, kind of just like an Alabama version of it.
Interesting.
Go team! That's going to be the easiest cheerleader team that you'll ever see. Go team!
NFL team.
Go my favorite sports team.
People are still going to be shouting Redskins at that stadium. But,
you
of course, you have to have people
they have to be there
in order for them to shout it, right? Hey, come out and visit us at Randall Ford tomorrow. We are there live for the show from 12 to 2, but we'll be visiting with you from 11 o'clock in the morning until 12 noon. And Randall Ford also introduces the all-new Randall Ford mobile van. It comes to you for oil changes, recalls, flats, dead batteries. Convenient and safe. They'll sanitize your vehicle, and technicians wear masks. Come see us tomorrow. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue,
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays, signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers and Fort Smith.
Are your workouts more fun than this? Well, if they are, then I want to sign you to an endorsement deal with Michelob Ultra. I'm looking for anyone and everyone who makes working out a blast. If that's you, head to TeamUltra.com for a chance to score awesome perks like Team Ultra gear and more. That's TeamUltra.com to enter.
No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus. See official rules at TeamUltra.com. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. It's a difficult time right now, and social distancing is vitally important. That's why I'm here to encourage you to keep running. It's a great way to exercise in solitude, build up your immune system, and keep from going stir-crazy. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more tips on how to take care of yourself during this time. And remember, just keep running. This has been brought to you by True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Everyone loves Buffalo Wild Wings. Only the hottest, juiciest, meatiest, crispiest, and most scrumptious buffalo wings around. But what kind should we order? There's so many to choose from. That's right, 24 to be exact. Saucy or seasoned, spicy or mild, B-Dubs has it all. Go to hitthatline.com and vote for your favorite Buffalo Wild Wing flavor. Spicy garlic, honey barbecue, blazing, and countless more. Vote now at hitthatline.com. ESPN Arkansas weather.
Upper level disturbances will keep our weather wet and stormy over the next couple of days. Occasional showers and storms tonight. An overnight low will drop down into the low 70s. Could see some heavier rain, especially across the north. Showers and thunderstorms likely on Thursday, mid to upper 80s. More showers and storms for Friday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson. Make sure to listen to The Morning Rush every weekday morning from 6 to 9 on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
These guys are awesome, baby. You have these guys, ESPN in Arkansas. They do a good job.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Jones for the win. He got it. He got it. He got it. Mason Jones banks in a three with 0.1 seconds to play.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Second hour halftime on this Thursday. Wrapping it up with halftime homework later on. We do not have any guests in this second hour, so we're open for you. 877-377-6963. I mentioned at the end of the last segment, we're at Randall Ford tomorrow, 11 o'clock until 2 o'clock. And tomorrow will be your opportunity, SmackDown, to get back at me for the last segment today, in which I just continue to – I don't understand how you can be as close to 30 years old as you are and still not have seen Godfather 2 or all of the Indiana Jones movies. Yeah, you're wiping a tear out of your eye right now.
Have you seen any Indiana Jones movie?
I've seen the first one. Like, I've started it, didn't finish it, then I finished it later.
How do you start Raiders of the Lost Ark and not finish it that day?
I have no words.
No, yeah, good. There are no words. Good news coming from the University of Arkansas yesterday. 0 positive results on their last round of COVID testing from Wednesday. About 200 personnel included the entire football team, the coaching staff, and auxiliary personnel on Tuesday. So as far as controlling any sort of spread of the virus on the campus from the athletic department's perspective, Arkansas has done a gangbusters job. And you can't say that about everybody else. This has to be a matter of communication to your players and strictly buy-in by these student athletes. There's a quote that Bob Bowlesby, the commissioner of the Big 12, said yesterday that I think speaks to what everybody is facing in any sport that's not in a bubble, and that's the professional sports and that's the college sports too. This is Bowlesby's quote. Having worked in higher education for over 40 years, we don't want to put too much stock in the consistent good judgment of 18 to 22-year-olds. Now, as someone who's been alive for over 43 and a half years, I don't know if I would, put too much stock in my own consistent good judgment. But, the fate of an entire college football team and maybe an entire season is not on my shoulders. It is on the players' shoulders. When you look at what's happened in a few other spots, the LSU outbreak, that's tied to players going out in Tiger Town. The Kansas State situation tied to players socializing and having parties. Rutgers, 15 players for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights tested positive. They shut football down last week, and the positive tests are linked to an on-campus party. The situation with the Marlins, this apparently all started because Marlins players went out in downtown Atlanta, or near, I don't know if it was downtown Atlanta because the ballpark's not downtown. It's in Cobb County, but they went out in Atlanta. And I think what it's going to come down to here, SmackDown, is, and we've been forced during the shutdown and even after the total shutdown to limit a lot of our activities that we're used to doing. So we've sort of been forced to accept boredom in some cases. Like these 18 to 22-year-olds and the Major League Baseball players, the quote-unquote horny players that the unnamed guy referred to Jeff Passan, you just have to accept more boredom than you're used to. Like, be okay being bored, and therefore you'll be okay not having the virus inside your body. I think these two ideas go together.
They go together, and they all go together if you want to have a football season. And the Razorbacks have done their part to our knowledge, and like you just mentioned, 0 positive tests after conducting about 200 personnel. So
so good for the players
good
for
the
buying
players,
in.
Yeah, buying in, listening, doing their part.
Boy, things change, though, when students start coming back.
That's exactly what I was fixing to say, because that's going to be the telling sign. And it's not going to be just at Arkansas. It'll be at LSU, Rutgers, all those schools you just mentioned, because whether or not it's right or wrong, I mean, you got your people that still think they're not going to wear the mask because, God forbid, it's going to hurt them or something like that. But that's going to be the telling sign of this. If the numbers can stay low, because you know there's going to be positives. It's just that's a matter of fact, I would argue. But if you can keep those low, keep them mitigated to certain spots, and Sam Pittman and Yurachek said the same thing. They can only do so much as those administrators. Ultimately, it's going to come down to the kids and putting their trust into those kids that they're going to do right from wrong. Well, so far they have.
And then it's also a matter of in locker room leadership.
Yes.
You know, it really is. There have to be players that set the example.
That's where Felipe Franks is going to come in.
To follow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know enough about him to know whether or not he'd be the guy. But it has to be up to the older players then to set the example. And it's like something that I saw Adam Wainwright, the great, the veteran Cardinals pitcher, talking about how the veterans on that team for the Cardinals were trying to impart to the younger players how important it is that they buy in to not getting anybody else in that clubhouse sick. You know, it's like, could you imagine being the guy that brought the virus inside the Marlins clubhouse and essentially throwing the Miami Marlins season and maybe all of Major League Baseball season into question? Like, there's got to be peer pressure brought upon everybody in these clubhouses. And just by now it sounds like somebody's doing proper leading in the Arkansas locker room. You know, and hopefully that example, stays at the forefront of these guys' minds once kids start coming to campus. Like, I wouldn't expect any more outbreaks in Major League Baseball the exact same way that happened with the Marlins. It's now right there in front of you. You see the problems, the issues that can rise just from simply going out in a big city. Mm-hmm. So, it's on them. This is now like a whole new form of leadership that I don't know if we'd thought about too much. We talk about leadership as far as what you're doing on the field. And, yeah, there are certain ways to handle yourself off the field, but it never really included, man, you should never go out. I think it's understood that athletes do want to go out, do want to go get dinner somewhere, do want to have a drink occasionally and socialize. And now you've got to change your ways. We all have to change our ways. We all have to change the way we go about our day. If you even get to go to a football game, you're going to have to change the way you went about going to that game.
Yeah.
So these players have to do the exact same thing, and you've got to keep that. They have to keep that on their mind 24/7. Any moment where you veer off course, where you give in to those desires of socializing and being on Dixon at a bar late at night, you've now potentially put the season at risk.
I would argue, too, that these college athletes are much more different, much more not mentally stable. What's the word I'm looking for? Mentally strong, I guess the best way to put it. Than
goal-oriented.
I'm trying to struggle with the word to bring up, but these kids are built different than, say, us three, for example.
Yeah,
yes,
they're considerably larger and stronger and faster, that's for sure.
But they're athletic, and they got to the University of Arkansas. Yes, they all probably had great grades, whatever it is. But they go to that school for a purpose, to play football, and I would argue half of them probably want to get to the next level. So, I mean, they've got that mental toughness built into their mind that, damn it, we're going to do whatever's necessary to make this thing happen. That's different than what, say, Maddie T or myself going to campus. But yes, we're mentally strong, but nothing's going to inhibit us from not having our good time on a college campus. Because for all the high school kids, everybody knows how much fun you can have in 4 years at a campus, whether it be really good or really bad. And most of the time it turns out really bad for someone if you have too much fun. But these kids are built different. They're built not necessarily for this kind of a thing, but they're mentally strong enough they know that they have to do this, A, if they want to have a football season, B, if they want to achieve their lifelong goals.
Well, nobody ever wants to be a goat during a game.
No.
Be the guy who lost the game for you. And
exactly.
Nobody wants to be the one who lost the season for you, too. Or the reason why your entire first team had to get shut down before you played 3 days later and you ended up losing 82-0 because your starters couldn't get on the field. You don't want to be that guy. You might want to be that guy or that gal that heads to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, though, and make sure that you're careful and wearing a mask inside there. They are abiding by the guidelines with social distancing, state-of-the-art airflow system. You'll have the freshest environment while you're at 906. And tonight, from 7 to 10, Jimmy Atchison's on guitar. Terry Bailey plays the happy hour piano at 4 o'clock. Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on Facebook for their specials and events. And we'll come back after the break and continue on halftime.
Governor Asa Hutchinson here on the Morning Rush.
I don't know how the public will react whenever you have a football player that tests positive. Will people feel comfortable pulling that one student out, isolating them, and going on about the game? We're going to have positive tests, and we have to deal with it just like we do in the work setting, in our family setting. Life doesn't stop.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Randall Ford invites you to our launch party this Friday and Saturday. Stop in and see the all-new Randall Ford mobile maintenance van. Now we can come to you for all of your auto maintenance needs. It's convenient, extremely safe, and you never have to leave your house. We do oil changes, factory recalls, dead batteries, tire rotation, and so much more. So stop in this Friday and Saturday. We'll have some refreshments, some giveaways, and you'll have an opportunity to check out the new Randall Ford mobile van. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or shop us online at randallford.com.
Miss Anna's on Towson is quickly becoming one of Fort Smith's favorite haunts. We're now serving breakfast from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Blue Plate specials served Monday through Friday. And don't forget about 99-cent Pie Tuesday. So whether you're craving some of our great kickin' chicken or one of our world-famous desserts, Miss Anna's is the place to be. 5001 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, 649-6300. That's 649-6300.
I told you that front tire needed air.
I know, Dad.
Where's the tire iron? I told you, always keep a tire iron in a jack.
I know, Dad. I got it. Roadside assistance is included with my Shelter Insurance auto policy. It's one of the reasons you told me to get it, remember?
Maybe you do listen after all.
At Shelter, listening to you is what we do best.
Ask Shelter agent Phil Hicks about a free insurance review.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above can make that driveway and fence look brand new with a good power washing. You don't have to put up with those unwanted pests either. Call today and get started with the flea, tick, and mosquito treatment to start enjoying the outdoors again. More than just a mowing service. They're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea, tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
We're now living in uncharted waters with the spread of COVID-19. With the partial closing of a lot of businesses, sadly, some will soon try and turn your possessions into their possessions. Guardtronic has been providing security for homes and businesses for over 60 years. Whether you need a camera system to keep an eye on things or a complete home security system, call Guardtronic 479-785-2323 or go online to guardtronic.com. We have so many worries these days, safety should not be one of them. License E50.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Everyone loves Buffalo Wild Wings. Only the hottest, juiciest, meatiest, crispiest, and most scrumptious buffalo wings around. But what kind should we order? There's so many to choose from. That's right, 24 to be exact. Saucy or seasoned, spicy or mild, B-Dubs has it all. Go to hitthatline.com and vote for your favorite Buffalo Wild Wing flavor. Spicy garlic, honey barbecue, blazing, and countless more. Vote now at hitthatline.com. This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Baseline drive. Sills feeds Joe left corner. Step back. 3 on the way from Isaiah. Perfect. Nothing but the bottom for Joe. And the Hawks are up 45-28.
I've been saying he's the best shooter in the country.
Well, a couple of Hall of Fame coaches died yesterday. We'd mentioned Lou Henson during the show yesterday, the longtime Illinois, New Mexico State coach, a couple of Final Fours. And Mike Gillespie passed away yesterday as well at the age of 80. Great baseball coach at Southern California and UC Irvine. Won a couple of national titles at USC. Over 1,500 career wins for Mike Gillespie, who passes away at age 80 yesterday. All right, 877-377-6963, staying with baseball here, and the hashtag Free Joe Kelly is getting around, man.
Making its rounds.
Joe Kelly is a little bit crazy and a little bit funny. I love his Instagram post today. I hate the fact that he's being suspended 8 games in a 60-game season. He is being suspended for 13% of the season without even hitting any of the players. Now, look, he did throw at Alex Bregman.
That was so obviously intentional.
Yes, it was completely intentional.
He was really mature, too, with his little facial expressions and sticking his lip out afterwards.
Well, I don't think anybody's ever accused Joe Kelly of being an adult.
I was watching the video replay. Those announcers, though, I don't think they were hard enough on him. They were almost like defending him a little bit.
It's probably because you were watching the Dodgers broadcast, and and Oral Hershiser last night got in a little dig at I think it was Correa or it was Altuve for striking out looking, and he said something about it's a lot more difficult when you're guessing instead of knowing. So I mean the dislike between those two teams, I'm gonna guarantee you, extends into the broadcast booth.
At least, yeah.
Yes, and look, Joe Kelly wasn't even a part of the Dodgers when they lost the World Series to Houston in 2017. He was with the Red Sox, but I think he lost to the Red Sox lost to the Astros in the playoffs that year. Of course, Boston was doing their own sign stealing. I don't have a problem with Kelly being suspended. It's the length of the suspension. That's a lot of time.
What is a normal, like a game or two?
A pitcher will get suspended usually for 5 games. But
160-game schedule too.
For
now it's much
schedule.
more significant.
Yes. Well, and I think Rob Manfred is trying to deliver a message, and I think that they've tried to do this intermittently throughout the last few years of getting the headhunting out of the way. There's certain degrees of throwing at a batter, like it's accepted inside the game that it's okay to throw at a batter if you throw, below the shoulders or around the belt or below the belt. When you throw at the head or above the shoulders, that's where you're crossing the line.
Now,
and that's probably where I would imagine that if Kelly had drilled Alex Bregman on his hip, I don't think this would be an 8-game suspension. It probably would be more like around 5.
Phil, we were just remembering last week a memory about a guy that got nailed, in a separate situation, but hit in the head by a baseball. Yeah. You could kill somebody doing that.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Even with that helmet on, you can do some serious damage here. The Instagram post from Kelly, though, is something that's going to win him some fans. And look, everybody in baseball, I think, if they're not an Astros fan, was angry about the sign stealing from the Astros and the depth of it and the covering up. And I mean, I don't think there's anybody that was more upset about it than the Dodgers. I mean, Cody Bellinger essentially accused Jose Altuve of stealing an MVP. I think that this really goes very deep. So Kelly Kelly's got this 8-game suspension, and his Instagram post is beautiful. It looks like he's got his 3 kids there. He's got, I guess, 2 babies and someone that resembles, at least the body neck down, resembles a 10-year-old. And on the where the heads of these children are supposed to be on this photo, he was photoshopped in Jose Altuve's head on one baby, Carlos Correa on another baby, and Alex Bregman on the 10-year-old. And he has hashtag Correa sucks, hashtag Altuve sucks, hashtag Bregman sucks. Another hashtag Crybaby Correa. He calls Houston the ass clowns and has a hashtag Joe Kelly for president 2020.
And Joe, heck, you might as well fit in Joe Kelly Fight Club too.
He's a little bit crazy. Like, I remember watching Kelly pitch for Springfield. He was initially a Cardinals prospect. I don't remember him doing anything crazy there. I think he was the guy for the Red Sox in the postseason a few years ago that did that competed against someone else from the other team to who would leave the foul line last at the end of the national anthem and just stood there for an extra 5 minutes while the teams were warming up. He's just a little bit different. He's got a lot of that I don't care.
Does he think he's a tough guy?
He must.
Do you think he really is as tough as he thinks he is?
Well, he didn't get involved in the supposed fracas on the field. He struck out Correa, stuck out the lip, shouted at him, according to Dusty Baker, called him a little B, and then walked off into the dugout and let the rest of his teammates handle the rest of it. He did kind of start a real fight between the Red Sox and Yankees a couple years ago, so he's got a little bit of this history.
When this whole thing happened, the first thing that popped through my head is like, because I woke up that morning, I saw big brawl between the Astros and Dodgers. It didn't really click in my head that like the Astros, excuse me, for everything that they've put the MLB through previously. But I figured, it would be the total Houston Astro way if like the virus were to break out that way, and then the Houston Astros, they already screwed up a couple World Series because of the cheating scandal. Now they screw up the 2020 scandal or the 2020 season because of this. I love it though. I love what Joe Kelly's doing.
Well, a lot of folks are angry that Kelly gets an 8-game suspension for throwing at players, and the Astros players got nothing
the
for
entire
stealing
team.
signs.
They got a spat on the wrist.
But the problem is these are false equivalencies. I mean, it's not on the Astros players for not being suspended. That's on Rob Manfred. That's on Manfred for giving them clemency for their testimonies. Essentially, that you cannot go back on your word in that sense. So that's not on the Astros. Hate them for stealing signs, fine. And this is more on Manfred than anything else. And then here's another aspect. So again, these are also false equivalencies. But what about the Marlins players that went out and put their team in jeopardy for the rest of the season, and maybe put the Phillies in jeopardy, and maybe put a couple of other teams in jeopardy because of the way that this virus spreads? I don't think that any of them are going to get suspended.
But
and
they should.
Well, maybe they should, but it's not due to the agreement between the players and the owners. You can't even publicize who has the virus unless the player says, yes, go ahead, you can publicize this. So we might not even know, who was responsible for it. And again, these are all false equivalencies. You can't look at a pitcher throwing at a batter and say, well, he got 8 games, so these guys who stole signs should. But now there is a rule. I off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was, but I think it came out yesterday. And it comes out there are in-season rules that will lead to automatic suspensions without pay for stealing signs. So the get-out-of-jail-free card is no longer available for anybody. But I understand why you'd be upset why the Astros players don't get suspended, but that's on Rob Manfred. Most of this is on Manfred.
I was going to say just everything that's pretty much been happening goes back to him. And JT texted again. He said that's another reason why we need Phil Elson to be MLB commissioner.
That's right. I forgot. I haven't put out my. I haven't yet done an ad to run for this whole new job I've tried to construct for myself as I'm going to be the next baseball commissioner. Brian says cheating's been a part of baseball for years. Astros just did it too good. Sure, but cheating's a part of baseball, but so is finding out who the cheaters are and then punishing them. Cheating's a part of baseball, but that also means that people will go after you and you can be punished if it's found out that you cheated. These two things do go together.
Right.
It's unfortunate that well, do you have to accept cheating? Do you have to accept it? That it's just this is what's always been done? Everybody's always looking for an edge, so, they cheat, whatever.
Not necessarily accepting it, but, I mean, it's like you said, it's always been a part of the game. Well, I think the extreme parts is where we look at it, something like this that literally almost, in some senses, changes the outcome of a game. I wouldn't say necessarily steroids change the outcome of a game, but those extreme circumstances have changed the game. But as far, that the players are doing stuff behind their back that we just don't ever see.
Just don't get caught.
Right. They're smarter.
And don't make it a systematic thing. I think that's the main issue here.
Right,
individual players will do things here or there that their other teammates or the manager might not be aware of. It's the systematic aspect to it that just felt outside the norm. Look, you want to steal signs. They've been trying to steal signs for years. It's not in the way that it was done. So yesterday, SmackDown was National Chicken Wing Day. How many did you eat?
I ate about 15 chicken wings yesterday and had a ball doing it. But you make sure you can still go to B-Dubs and get you some great chicken wings here in the River Valley. They have extra hand wipes to keep everything nice and clean, staying home. You can order your stuff through DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and different ordering services. Head over to Buffalo Wild Wings. Get you boneless traditional wings right now at Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
You frightened me.
Build your business with 100% fiber, internet, voice, and cloud services from Ritter Communications. Whether you're a one-man woodworking shop who needs fast, reliable internet complete with TV service, or you're a construction enterprise needing managed voice and networking to connect your multiple sites, our helpful, Arkansas-based team will create a custom solution for you. Visit RitterBusiness.com or give them a call at 888-336-4249 to learn more.
When we rise above alcohol and drugs, we reach for, expect, achieve, and accomplish more. The minute we think about using alcohol or drugs, we lower our chance of living our best life. When we rise above, we respect ourselves and live our best life, not a stressed life. Being drug and alcohol free has always been the best way to be. Hey, it's my best me. Let's do this. Join the RAAD movement. Challenge yourself to rise above alcohol and drugs. To learn more, find and like us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Region 2 Partners for Success, and you can reach us at 870-391-3176.
Up to $10,000 off on 2020 Ford F-150s at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The Ford F-150, the #1 selling truck for over 40 years. Now only $34,875. That's up to $10,000 off. Or get a 2020 Ford Escape, only $20,999. Or the 2020 Ford Fusion, only $18,999 at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Harry Robinson, Salisal Ford.
906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, now open Tuesday through Saturday. Still serving all the 906 specialty items, with new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, dine in or carry out, wines, top shelf spirits, and handcrafted cocktails and cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels more like a destination. Following all of the state guidelines in a state-of-the-art air filtration system for your safety. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open Tuesday through Saturday at 4 p.m.
Finally, CBD products are available in your area. It's 100% legal to buy our hemp-based CBD products, oils, gummies, or tablets. So what's bothering you? Science is finding CBD can help a variety of problems. Do you live with chronic pain? Do you want to reduce nausea and vomiting? Do you want to quit smoking or break some addictions? That's the reason why so many people are talking about CBD. Whether it's sleep issues, stress, or even anxiety, it's time to take a look. look. Right now, CBD products are available to you, and you get 30 days to try it out with a money-back satisfaction guarantee. You have nothing to lose and your better health to gain. Call right now. Mention the discount code RADIO and qualify for free shipping.
800-689-5773. 800-689-5773. 800-689-5773. That's 800-689-5773.
Evans Body Shop wants you to know that we are here for you. During this uncertain time, let us take the wheel and get your car repaired so you are ready to roll when the time comes. We offer pickup and delivery and will sanitize your vehicle during your complimentary detail that is done with all repairs. Don't want to get out at all? We have you covered. We offer a mobile estimating tool that allows you to take a few pictures and we will email or text your estimate directly to you. Check out our website or Facebook for more details.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Everyone loves Buffalo Wild Wings. Only the hottest, juiciest, meatiest, crispiest, and most scrumptious buffalo wings around. But what kind should we order? There's so many to choose from. That's right, 24 to be exact. Saucy or seasoned, spicy or mild, B-Dubs has it all. Go to hitthatline.com and vote for your favorite Buffalo Wild Wing flavor. Spicy garlic, honey barbecue, blazing, and countless more. Vote now at hitthatline.com.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
High drive, way back into right field. You can kiss that one goodbye. That cleared the video board. Heston Kjerstad with a grand slam. All right, I know you're fired up today, SmackDown.
Yes, always.
Because we got another American sport that is restarting. And is it safe to say this one's your favorite?
Absolutely. I'm trying to. There it is.
It's so funny, too. It's the NBA that's starting today. When did Major League Baseball start being referred to as the MLB? We're getting another text here from someone that just referred to it as the MLB. I see this trending on Twitter sometimes.
The Major League Baseball.
The Major League Baseball.
Huh.
It is the one and only Major League Baseball, but I thought that the MLB was really the only L that you couldn't refer to as the. Anyway, the NBA restarts today, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You get the, you get the Clippers and the Lakers at 8 o'clock, the Jazz and the Pelicans at 5:30. This is not the Clippers that we would be used to seeing. I know Patrick Beverley's still not with them currently, correct?
No, he is. He's back in the I don't know if he's playing tonight, but he's back in the bubble.
Okay.
No, this Clippers team, if you're an NBA fan, this thing will be the same one that you've seen. I mean, you're still going to have Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, so you're going to be in the game regardless, but it's going to be a fun 2 games because now you got with the Jazz Pelicans, you got Zion Williamson with Donovan Mitchell. Are taking on Donovan Mitchell with the Jazz, and then obviously LeBron and AD taking on Kawhi and Paul George. And what arguably that could be your finals matchup because the way that's different this year, there's no Eastern-Western Conference playoff battle. It's just the top 16, and however it gets seeded, that's how it's going to end up being based off this 8-game series.
You could end up seeing 2 Western Conference teams in the championship, in the finals?
Very well could.
Isn't that something?
It's the way it should be.
You think so?
Absolutely. And we might have – I don't know if I brought it up on here or said on the rush, but how often when you look at NBA standings, if everything was normal, how many teams are below 500 out of the Eastern Conference?
Well, I mean, in recent years, there's been quite a few. And there's only 9 Eastern Conference teams that are in the bubble. 13 Western Conference teams are in the bubble.
But I just say that to say, like, it should be the top 16 teams because there's been a few occasions where the Western Conference have had 2 or 3 teams left out of the playoffs just based off the 8 seed, but they had winning records when you have teams on the Eastern side that are 10 or 15 games below 500, but they still make the playoffs. I've been a big fan of this kind of happening for so far, or for a while. This is going to be a good test run to kind of see how this thing plays out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We will have the Clippers and Lakers tonight.
Oh, you will?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Great.
Heck yeah.
Great.
So you can listen right here on ESPN Arkansas.
There we go.
So I know there are 3 quote-unquote arenas that have been built essentially inside, I think,
It's at the
large ballrooms.
It's a ballroom, and then they've got that big basketball arena where everything is taking place. I think what you're referring to, they've got like the practice gyms for everybody. That way everybody gets their practice. But I think they just have the one main gym for everybody. If you aren't aware, there's 22 teams down there right now.
They'll play 8 regular season games.
Yep.
These are seeding games essentially.
Correct.
But the 7th and 8th seeds in the conferences still could be up for grabs, and you could have, like I read, there could be they called it a tournament, but I don't know if tournament
almost like a play-in game, best of 3 play-in.
A play-in best of 3 if the 8th and 9th place teams are within 4 games of each other.
Correct.
And if that happens, then the 8th place team needs to win once to clinch that 8th seed. 9th place team would have to win twice.
Right. I
So
believe that's correct.
It's like the old format of the College World Series.
It's going to be fun.
Format they have now.
And I think that's why I'm so pumped up for it, is because everything's up for grabs now. It doesn't matter. Like, the Lakers have been the top team in the West for all season. Theoretically, they could go 0-8, and then they're out of the playoffs. So, it's going to be really competitive.
They could really fall out of the.
They theoretically, I mean, that according to how I've understood it, kind of the way you present, it's just 8 games. However you play out these 8 games.
No, I think not. The way I look at this is there are 12 playoff seeds that have already been clinched. And those are 6 in each conference. So the 7th and 8th seeds are up for grabs.
Okay.
In both conferences. So essentially, the Bucks, the Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, and Sixers are playing to jockey for the first 6 seeds. Milwaukee's got a 6.5 game lead on Toronto for the top seed in the East. In the West, it's the Lakers, followed by the Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, and Rockets that have clinched the first 6 seeds, and they got a jockey for it. Mavs and Grizzlies are 7th and 8th, and then you have 5 other Western Conference teams that are battling for that for those 7th and 8th seeds. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a jumble of what's happening here, but the fact of the matter is you're going to have a lot of basketball on your television screen in the next couple of months. I saw where there are going to be, what is it, like 3 games a day at each of these arenas?
3 or 4, yeah. It's basketball all day long.
And it's going to look unlike anything we've ever seen before for NBA basketball. Like, it's jarring to watch baseball and see empty seats and the fake fans and all of that, but at least you're seeing the ballparks that you're used to seeing. Like, they're still playing in their home ballparks. These arenas, these floors that have been built for the NBA are totally different. Where you'll see, it's almost going to look like a small wrestling studio.
There you go.
With like 4 rows on either side of the benches, because those rows are the benches. Like, there aren't any real benches next to the court because you've got the players spaced out 6 feet apart in 4 different rows that are staggered, which also doesn't make any sense to me because, hey, they just got off the court from playing basketball, for crying out loud. So why do they have to be 6 feet apart from somebody on their own team at that point? Anyway, you've got these giant video boards that are lining the court. That's going to look totally different.
And they're going to have the virtual fans on, not virtual, excuse me. Fans are going to, like, Skype in or Zoom in. So it's like, if you're a big Laker fan, I'm a Clipper fan, whatever, they'll have pictures of these fans watching their teams on there. It's a slick setup. I love it. It's cool. It's different. I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much, because it's nothing we've ever seen before. I'm getting NBA back, which I'm a happy boy for that. And it's different, and it's something. And they've got a chance right now to really put a stamp onto something, because for everything that's went wrong with MLB as far as testing-wise and the virus being spread and everything, we've talked extensively just like how well Arkansas has handled this. The NBA has handled this thing to a T. And they've got strict protocols in place, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it still doesn't keep a player from eating chicken wings at his favorite strip bar in Atlanta. So.
Fair, but the positive tests have been low, if not a 0 for, I think. AT could probably tell us more tomorrow when we have him on here on halftime, but I think they've, past week or 2, it's been a 0.
Well, what baseball has done with these broadcasts, it sounds like the exact same broadcast as before. And, you know, they've piped in the crowd noise, and it doesn't feel like anything of a different broadcast when you're watching any of these baseball games on TV. It's going to look and sound, I think, a lot different for these NBA broadcasts. For one, they have brand new camera angles that we've never seen before, and supposedly they're going to have to put a bit of a delay on the sound because the players, you're going to hear stuff coming from the players that you've never heard before.
The
smack talk,
everything.
This is going to be highly entertaining.
Super entertaining because you've got LeBron. I mean, and storylines abound because it was pretty much a toss-up between LeBron and Giannis. Who is going to be MVP if the Clippers can finally get out of the Lakers' shadow and win a championship? You've got Zion potentially making his first NBA playoffs. There's storylines abound in this whole thing. The camera angles are going to be fun from a production standpoint, which is where I'm right in my wheelhouse. I love it. It's different. It's fun. At the few scrimmages I did watch, they did pipe in a little bit of noise just to bring the viewers some sense of quote-unquote normalcy. But it felt different, and it was a good different. It didn't make me. I didn't watch it. I was like, my God, this is weird. I mean, and I'm a bigger basketball fan than a lot of other people. I enjoy watching the NBA, college basketball. I love it. I eat it. I sleep it. I breathe it. That's just me. Kind of the same way with you with baseball. I love it. I'm pumped up for it.
Well, I'm excited to watch it too. Just to have something else on television to watch and really to see what these broadcasts look like. And it's the first bubble league to first major bubble league to get started. MLS has already been going. This
NHL has too.
The National Women's Soccer League has already gotten going. NHL is getting going now too. So it will be interesting to watch. You know what happens in the differences in the rate of transmission of the virus, or just positive tests between the no bubble leagues and the bubblicious leagues, and. Well, now you'll have both of each kind playing right now.
Real quick, want to get this in here. Mike from Fort Smith says he wants to see Donovan Mitchell. Fake news right before tip-off.
Yeah,
and this news coming in from Bleacher Report: USC Alabama has officially been canceled.
Well, it shouldn't have been. Pac-12 was going to go already announced.
Well, I know, but I think they might have just rescheduled it for another year. But according to them, it's been officially cut.
Okay, well, maybe it's still going to be Alabama BYU. Maybe tomorrow there'll be some sort of an announcement coming from the SEC office. We'll find out. But next, wrapping up the show with halftime homework.
Jelco Outdoors is your summertime get outside and have some fun headquarters. Fishing equipment, fishing kayaks, canoes, archery equipment, firearms for target shooting, and comfortable footwear for hiking. Jelco has all the great gear to make your time outdoors a great adventure. Hunters, it's time to get those game cameras out and start scouting for fall. Jelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Are your appliances struggling? Do you need that part and not sure where to go? Mid-South Distributing has you covered with 9 locations in the Arkansas area. Appliance parts and accessories for all major brands of appliance. Mid-South Distributing has you, the customer, in mind when you're needing that part for your appliance. Mid-South Distributing. Check out midsouthparts.com to find your location near you. Mid-South Distributing. We're in your neighborhood.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Right now, we are all being put to the test by COVID-19, but there are things we can do to stop the spread. Wash your hands often and throughout the day. When you go out, wear a face covering and keep at least 6 feet between yourself and others. Take care of those more at risk. If you have symptoms or have been exposed to someone with COVID-19, get tested. Save lives. Stop the spread. Learn more at healthy.arkansas.gov. This message brought to you by the Arkansas Department of Health.
Kubota and Gray Brothers have teamed up to bring you special pricing on all Kubota cab tractors to help you keep cool during your hay baling and brush hogging activities. And if you're looking at cleanup from the recent storms, try Kubota skid steers and excavators with special pricing and low-term financing. Now's the time for a new Kubota at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
In the office, on the course, poolside, or on the sideline, Pinnacle helps you make the call. A hosted PBX business phone system can provide all the benefits of a traditional phone system without the high cost. Now through the end of July, add 4 new hosted PBX phones and get the 5th one at no additional cost. 5 phones for only $99 a month? Now that's a deal you need to call on. Business communication your way. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
Before we can move forward, we have to get ready to start moving again. Movement is how we express ourselves. No matter if it's on the hardwood, the track, or the highway, movement drives our potential, and it helps us build momentum for tomorrow. Movement takes us further than we ever thought possible. It's what separates us in competition, and it's what unites us when we need it most. So when you're ready to start moving forward again, we'll make sure you're ready for every mile. Goodyear, more driven.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
1-2 pitch. Open swings. Hard shot. Through the right side. Base hit. Washington to third. He gets the green light. And the throw. Not in time. Hogs win. The Razorbacks finish the sweep of Missouri. And that's how you do a Sunday at Baum Stadium. By the end of this summer, I'm going to have my children watching all of the classic movies that SmackDown Matt Jenkins has missed throughout his 27-year-plus life.
You two just need to be nice to me in this segment. I'll accept my faults as a human that some of these movies I haven't seen. So
we are trying to be nice. We're trying to educate you on good movies from the past that you've missed on. We're doing you a good. We're doing you a solid here by promoting these movies to you. So. What have I had the kids watch while we've been together? We've seen Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. We've seen The Sound of Music, Airplane. We've seen Field of Dreams. And last night, I introduced Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade to my children. Please text us in if you've seen this movie, 877-377-6963. And actually, if you've seen all 3 movies, I'm not counting the Crystal Skull. The whole Crystal Skull thing was pretty awful. So if you've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, text us, 877-377-6963, because you are better than SmackDown Jenkins. I texted Matt this morning to ask if he'd seen, knowing the answer. And I don't know if I'm more disappointed, Matt, that you haven't seen Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, or that you have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, but you had to watch it in bits and pieces, which I don't understand. Greatest adventure movie ever made, and you needed at least 2 or 3 times to watch it. What happened, my man? No answer. Okay, I understand. Yeah. So, Matty T, you've seen all 3 of those, right?
Of course I have.
Of course you have.
But it wasn't until Temple of Doom, though, that I saw him in the theater, so that's the one that's my favorite.
These are like the best summer movies that ever came out. And I do think you'll enjoy them.
Oh, I know I will.
Did you at least like Raiders when you watched it over 3 or 4 times, or 3 or 4 sit-downs?
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you like the death at the end of the movie, the melting faces, which is probably like the greatest?
Doesn't every high school kid love that?
Yeah, melting faces.
I guess I'd have been
best movie death. We did. I got a good text from a tweet from a listener earlier reminding me about the death of the villain at the end of RoboCop, which involved some toxic waste. But the melting face at the end of Raiders was terrific. Last Crusade, I think, is a little better than Raiders. I love Sean Connery. I know there's supposed to be like a fifth Indiana Jones movie that was supposed to come out in 2019, and now it's been pushed all the way back to the summer of 2022.
Was that because of the virus or just because of?
Well, I think there was some script issues initially. Okay. Now the virus is another part of it, and it's a little difficult to buy Harrison Ford as an action star. What is he, in his mid-70s now? So I think that might be a little issue too. But it doesn't matter how bad Kingdom of the
Crystal Skulls. Even in that one, they were really trying to hand it off to Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I'm still going to go watch the next
one.
Just
do it! That's the only reason I know who Shia LaBeouf is.
Yeah, okay, Hog Fan says, this is one of the few series franchises where a sequel is as good or better than the original. It's true. It's true. You know what else is another sequel that's better than the original? Maybe.
Back to the Future Part 2?
Nah, Godfather 2, which is another one that you haven't seen, SmackDown.
Look, okay, just give me a sec. Hang on. You two have been giving me hell all morning because of all these movies. Matty T made fun of wrestling. It's lucky he still has two eyes that he can see out of right now.
Making fun of wrestling is usually the last straw for you.
Absolutely it is.
I said it as I was running away, though.
You damn right you did. I've never been – I enjoy movies, don't get me wrong. But I didn't – when I was growing up, I didn't really like – I would get bored watching a movie most of the time.
Well, that's a product of today. You obviously look at Twitter too much. Your ability to focus
my life would be so much better if I didn't have Twitter.
You said you did grow up without cable, though.
living out in the boondocks of BB, Arkansas. Of course you do. No, I don't know. I never was the biggest movie guy.
What's your favorite all-time movie?
Remember the Titans.
I'll allow that one. That one works.
And not really because the movie's great. I look at more of and I'm a sports guy, obviously. So I go for more of the sports movies and different things like that. Remember the Titans is really good. That's probably number one. Oh Lordy.
Yeah, this will take a while if we let you sit there and think.
So you came up with one movie, your second favorite movie.
All I want you to do is pick.
What have I done to you two?
You've existed, and you've missed too many movies that you shouldn't miss. You have to pick one of these two movies, either Temple of Doom or Last Crusade, and it's on Netflix. All of the Indiana Jones movies are on Netflix, so you don't have to rent it. It won't cost you a thing. And I need some sort of a review next Thursday. All right, so it's either that, or I want you to write my obituary.
I can handle that.
Because I found I don't know if this is the greatest obituary ever written, but this one is pretty good. It was written in the Buffalo News about Carol Scarcella, who passed away 11 days ago. She was in her 80s, a little old. So listen to this here, okay? 5 things about Carol. This was written by her daughter in the Buffalo News. 1, she loved to read. Her favorite author was Stephen King. She had a private library of hundreds of books. I love Stephen King. I think Carol and I could get together and hang out a little bit. 2, she loved to smoke. She smoked millions of cigarettes. This is actually in the obituary. 3, she loved slot machines and Facebook games. She never won millions, but she had the biggest farm in all of Farmville and made it to the millionth level on Candy Crush. 4, she was an avid sports fan. She loved the New York Yankees and LeBron James, but you cannot call – no, I'm interjecting here. You cannot call her a front runner because now the best line of the entire obit, she hated, and the word hated in all caps, Tom Brady. 5, when her children were growing up, and it goes on to talk about how she, was in the PTA coach, the sports teams, blah, blah, blah. I love the stuff about the biggest farm in all of Farmville, the millionth level on Candy Crush. Which
hey, that's a big accomplishment.
I realize there are that many levels on Candy Crush. I'm about at 350, and I'm quitting because I don't want to give my life to that. The hated Tom Brady thing.
That's fantastic.
She speaks for all of Buffalo. This is now the most popular woman in all of Buffalo, and unfortunately, she's gone.
So do you want me? So when we write your obituary, do you want to do the 5 things about Phil Elson, or just write your obituary? Period?
Oh yeah, find 5 things. 5 things that would be perfect to remember me by at the end of my life. And maybe you can let them know who I hate the most.
Ooh. Have we had this conversation before? Who you hate the most?
No, we have not, but I think I've dropped hints. I've probably dropped some hints here and there about those, and you can keep it to sports, about the certain folks that I don't hate anybody, but that I hold a little more disdain for. So we'll see maybe how much attention you've been paying over these last 6 or 7 months. And you are writing my obituary. But gosh, man, I hope I don't die.
No, we don't need that to happen right now. Oh, yeah, Mike from Fort Smith. One of those things is how you eat a Kit Kat's going to be mentioned in there somewhere.
Yes, but you can mention that without the judgment attached to it. Because you're not going to be judgmental about someone who just died, right?
No, fair. No, I'll be subjective and I'll be respectful about it.
All right.
Can you make it rhyme?
Just do a bust. Yes, I don't know if I could right offhand right now, but
here he lays brokenhearted.
Okay, so you're watching.
I was trying to think.
You're watching Temple of Doom and or Last Crusade. You're going to let me know which villain death you thought was the best, and you're writing my obituary.
Damn,
it's a pretty thick week for you, my friend.
You got a big week for me.
Yeah, clear your schedule.
Yeah,
a very big, thick week for you.
That's all on top of watching NBA and everything else. All right, I better get to work.
Yeah, busy weekend, my friend. You thought you'd actually have a chance to go visit the family and everything, but you've got scores of stuff to worry about.
Damn. Did I hurt your feelings or something?
No. We just had a segment to worry about. That's all. And there's still another day, one more day to enter the Show Us Your Crack competition at hitthatline.com. It's brought to you by Mr. Autoglass and hitthatline.com. If you click on the link at the top of the hitthatline.com page, it says Show Us Your Crack. Just takes a second to send a picture of your broken or cracked windshield, and one lucky winner gets a new windshield from Mr. Autoglass on Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Tomorrow is the deadline, so do it today or tomorrow. And again, speaking of tomorrow, we're going to be at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith at 11 o'clock in the morning. And we're actually just going to do the show for 2 hours, but we're hitting in every once in a while during the last hour of Dan Le Batard. So be a while since the gang was all together, boys. It was when we were at Knockouts, I think, right?
Yeah, was. We got to get you in here more often.
Well, I think that'll probably happen sometime in the next few weeks. I think we will. I think we'll be able to see each other in person, and you might actually be able to physically assault me if you need to after I'm done insulting you for all the movies you missed.
Matty T, he got a pass today. I'll give him that. We've had a good week, but if he smarts off about wrestling again tomorrow,
I'll try to watch it.
Hey, tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow, we're going to hear something from the SEC, and we'll have some idea, a much better idea of what the 2020 football season would look like in the absolute best scenario. Whether or not that scenario actually remains in good standing, well, we'll have to find out in the upcoming few months. For Matty T and SmackDown, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.